Hi everyone.
Welcome to
Friday
Friday
Live.
Live.
Today is April 26th, 2024. Wrapping up April. Okay.
Ending of April, going into the new season, and it's wedding season.
Wedding season. Okay. Yes, a lot of things happening. Yes. Are you getting a lot of wedding invitations?
No, I think I'm a little too old. Most of my friends are already wedded or on the other.
Okay, whether you got married or you haven't, today we're actually going to talk about how trust planning ties in with everything. At every stage, there's something that you can tie yourself into. That why it is a good timing.
Yes.
Doesn't matter which stage of life you're in. All right. So, talk about if you haven't got married yet, how does trust planning help you?
So starting a new life together. A lot of trust planning comes in when you have a major life event, and merging two lives into one is a major milestone in your life.
It is definitely.
And it's a great time to get started. So if you haven't gotten married yet, it's a great time to test your relationship. Transparency and communication, like we always says. You're putting everything up front.
Remember one of our clients said, it's one of the most romantic things.
I think so. I think if you told me that 20 years ago, I'd be like, why are you talking about money? It should be about love. But
right. But you know what? Financial transparency between two people coming together,
there's no greater
amazing.
Trust.
It is amazing. Yes.
Yeah.
If you get it out in the open and actually have that common goal and share vision, that's where everything really comes together. So that is really.
It is. It's a foundation. It's a great base to start building your life together. So with trust planning, what you can do is you are putting all your assets out on the table, right? You could decide what you want to keep as separate property, community property. How do you want to manage it?
Or even if you take a step back, it's just for you to actually know where you're at, you individually.
Yeah.
And then, the same thing with the other person. Like, you've been working, you suppose you got out of school, you got a job, you're trying to save money, you're trying to develop, your life. What have you done thus far? It's a good time to, kind of but evaluate yourself where you're at, and then pat yourself on the back. You did a good job. You've done this much, you've accumulated such and such, and this is your financial picture, this is your overall picture. And
it's a great time to take inventory, right? You're taking inventory of what you got, putting all your Lego blocks out, what you can go from there, where you're going to build forward, right? The future you're building together. So we're combining our blocks together. What does our future look like?
Totally.
But you also look at what you got, right?
Right. So that is that timing when you talk about, how things are going to be going forward, how to utilize what each of you have, putting together and, make a better life for both of you.
Yeah. So and you can totally talk about all the important decisions, right? You can understand each other's spending habits. Are there goals for the future? Do you want to have kids?
Right.
Or do you have older parents you're worried about?
That you still need to care for.
Or siblings, all the family dynamics. You get to get it all out on the table.
Right. Like in a really positive way.
In a very great way, because it's like you're building the future together. You're merging your life together in that way.
So in a sense, it works much better than a prenup.
Yes.
It achieves actually more. It sets up your path. It sets up, it's a step up. You are improving yourself. You're to that next level. You're thinking on the next level. You are actually doing positive planning on that next level. So
you're strengthening your bond. You're having all the conversation that should be happening.
They are very difficult conversations, but they're really good ones to have before you get married. Now, if you have already gotten married,
it's still a good place, if you already gotten married. There's still a lot of things you don't know, I feel like. If
it hasn't happened yet, no matter when you're at, if I just got married today or, a few years down the road, it's still good to have, that no matter when, it's just good to have that clarity.
Yeah, and you're still getting to know each other. You get to know so much more about each other. Like that deep conversation. I feel like in marriage, the last time you kind of become roommates over time, things don't come up. But then when you these conversations, you get to learn about your partner again.
Definitely.
And you get to like strengthen that bond.
You
get to redirect your vision, or pivot, or whatever.
Or at this time, you probably already have your kids.
Yeah, or you haven't had kids. Like, what does that outlook looks like, right? With what we got.
So either way, then it's a good timing for you to get your trust in place, where it sets up a good framework, a good foundation for you to come together and stay together and build this up.
It's always good to reassess and then take the next step, right? So it's always...
And then it starts the protection, right? It starts to protect everything that you have. It protects your family. It protects your asset. And, it's already starting to look out for your minor children if you already have.
Yeah, or you have older children. How are you going to pay for the college? What does that look like? How are you going to plan for your children's wedding?
Right.
For that next step.
And usually we always encourage to, review your trust planning constantly, like, every year or every 2 years at the least. And, that way you can keep yourself, toward that goal. Go toward that goal, and then, you see where you're at and how you're working towards that, and get yourself, pace yourself.
Yeah, so in terms of, even relationship building, you're having aligning your vision together, you're checking in with each other constantly. So in that sense, having an estate plan, it's not just a prenup. It doesn't just serve the purpose of a prenup, a postnup, but also maybe something that's going to strengthen your family and tie it together.
Definitely. It ties into what we talk about, the financial literacy, right? You include everyone in your family in this conversation. Everybody develop together, grow together, and so everybody has that clarity of, where the whole family stand.
Yeah, you have that vision and you work towards it, right? It unifies the family too.
And so that's supposed to work for you in the long run, because you continue to review your planning and keep yourself at it. And this trust framework that you've built will continue to grow with you. You can amend, you can restate, you can do everything that you need within that same structure from now until...
Yeah, and you grow that wealth together too. That same vision. You're keeping aligned.
Right.
Right. Not just keeping us aligned with your vision, but also within the family.
Within the family. So, but what if you get divorced?
So if you get divorced, some people think, maybe I shouldn't get a trust then, so divorce, the trust is over. But I don't think you should look at it that way, right? It's still going to continue to protect you because you had that vision. Yes, your marriage might have split, but within that plan that you have planned together for your kids, and you already set out those plans for your kids, you can still protect your children.
There is still that
beyond
common
that
vision.
There's still the common vision. Just because your personal relationship doesn't work out, you might still have the same financial goals. You still want to provide for your children.
And when you have that clarity within the trust, if you do get divorced, property division-wise will be
a lot more
clear,
easier. Less fighting, hopefully, because
the characterization of all the property is clear,
right?
And you have both. You have the consensus about what's what.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, divorce is very hard when it comes to division because they just kind of merge everything together. They don't even know what they have together, right? They don't know what's community property, what's in the separate part, or what's the other person thinking. But with that trust already in place, you're already very clear about what you own jointly, what's separate, and what your future plan for those money is, right? If you already knew, well, I don't need to worry because even though we got a divorce, this money's going to the kids. We already planned that out, right? Then there's nothing to fight about.
So a lot of times the trust can actually stay.
Yes.
Because that common goal is there. Okay. Some of the characterization will probably be amended, but that common goal, that financial planning, that towards hopefully maybe your children will stay.
Yeah, and hopefully that'll make the divorce go more smoothly as in that financial aspect, but even in the personal aspect, because a lot about trust planning, it touches on different parts of your life, right? Yes. So if you have joint business together or you have plans for your children, like education plan, that is built into your trust. So you already know a lot of things that people have to work through during a divorce have to be already laid out clearly because you did the trust planning, right?
And then on to the next stage. If
blended family,
you become happily married again. So how does the trust and planning help in that aspect?
So in many times when we have blended family, a lot of people worry about the new spouse and potentially stepchildren or new children from this new marriage. But with the trust in place, you know your kids' rights are protected.
So you can maintain your separate trust that you have from before the marriage, and then you can build out a new trust for the blended family. So then you and your spouse can each do your own planning for your own children, and then still have that opportunity to come together to build, to plan your community portion of the trust, and still share that common goal, share that family vision. So I think it recognizes that individuals have their rights and their wishes, intentions for their own children.
So in that, so that planning will continue to adapt with your new life, and it also helps a new family that's forming, right? Because the new spouse would then clearly know her rights and what she has rights to, or know, what she's not entitled to.
I think what rights, property rights, each one of the spouses would have, or each of the children's would have, will be a lot clearer when this is set up. So it carves out clearly. It would help you to actually put your intention in place, so you know clearly what you're thinking you're getting. Not just people think that, okay, I get married again, and then but supposing they think, oh, my own child or children, they deserve to get what I have, not knowing that maybe things would get commingled or different rights occur in different instances, and what they end up getting is not what you had in mind. So with the trust planning, you teach yourself legally what would happen, and you get to design that with your new spouse.
And it's almost like a prenup once again. So you start that whole thing again. But also, I think it helps both sides of the equation, because then, the new spouse may think, well, if if that person's taking care of the ex-spouse or the ex-spouse, the kids from the previous marriage, how about her kids? So the new spouse coming in, we already know that these kids from the previous marriage are already taken care of. So there'll be enough to go around, right? I feel like that is kind of a conflict, or everything is just above board. I think that's always
good. That transparency.
That transparency. Right. And that communication, because you need to have those conversations if you already have those trusts in place.
It just makes it so much easier to open up that conversation and to, be on the table.
Yeah, it goes back to what we talk about. A lot of times it's taboo. People don't want to talk about money, but then it's everyone's thinking about it.
You want to talk about it when you're on good terms. You don't want it to, when you're fighting. When you're fighting,
you're so stressed out about it. Yeah.
Right. So, homework.
Have those conversations, wherever stage you're at.
Even
talk
with
to your life partner,
boyfriend, with your fiance.
Yeah, do hypotheticals, right?
Yeah.
Or if you're single, take inventory. Look at what you've accomplished, right? Like you said, pat yourself on the back. Look at your bank account. Look at your titles. Look at, make sure everything is clear. You got your pot set out.
Right. Just give yourself that clarity. Give yourself that transparency. And so it will be so much easier for you to plan and to go forward.
Yeah, with that, we'll say goodbye. We'll see you next week.
It's going to be May.
Live and plan your legacy. And we'll see you soon. Bye.